Hey guys, it's Undertaker here. Alright, and I decided that I wanted to do another retro review of a retro wrestling show. And I was thinking of what to do because I've been thinking like the retro reviews that I've done before, they really have been of shows that really aren't too good, like Judgment Day 2003 and Tuesday in Texas and stuff. So I just figured that I wanted to review a show that was definitely like better than that. I wanted to review like a show that was actually pretty good, but I also wanted to take a look at a show that really is not as like not as like talked about as a lot of other wrestling shows. So I decided to review Unforgiven 2002. And yeah, this was a pretty good show, probably like really good, maybe even like great maybe. Not sure if I can say it's great, but yeah, it's probably like pretty good to like really really good. Yeah, it's mostly due like to the SmackDown matches on the show because yeah, during this time with WWE pay-per-views, like this was like sort of around like the period where like SmackDown matches on the pay-per-views really were what were really good to great about the shows, and really what did make pay-per-views during this time like really good. While the Raw matches on the pay-per-views were really just kind of mixed. I mean, sometimes the Raw matches could be pretty good. Other times Raw could was just like mediocre with their matches on pay-per-views, and sometimes Raw just like was really bad on the shows. For me, while overall the SmackDown matches really did make the show as good as it was, I still did like think Raw was the Raw matches on the show were still like decent. I mean, yeah, there was really like nothing really that spectacular about the Raw matches on the show, but I mean, Raw still did have some decent matches on this pay per view. So, yeah, but yeah, overall, yeah, the SmackDown matches on the show really do like make the show really good. All right, so yeah, let me just start get right into the show. Show the sh- so the show kicked off with an eight-man tag team match. We had the Un-Americans, Test, Christian, Lance Storm, and William Regal versus Kane, Booker T, Goldust, and Bubba Ray Dudley. And I thought that this was a pretty good opener. Yeah, I mean, this was probably Raw's best match on the show. I mean, I think all eight guys got in enough offense here. I thought all guys got enough time in the match. Yeah, really like nothing like too spectacular about this, but it was enjoyable. Yeah, as I said, just about all eight guys got in enough time in the match. Yeah, I did like how, yeah, this was during the time where Bubba Ray Dudley was away from Devon. This was during the time when the Dudley boys were separated. But yeah, this was like when Bubba was like still like had a team with Spike during the time, but Spike wasn't in this match, obviously. Yeah, and I did like how Bubba actually did do like the "What's up" with Booker T in the match. Yeah, and eventually like all eight guys just started to really fight with each other. Yeah, yeah. And not a good thing where you thought that it may have been over, where like Kane was in the ring with Christian, but then Landstorm got involved and Kane tried to chokeslam Landstorm, but then Christian gave Kane a low blow, and then Landstorm gave Kane a kick, and you thought it may have been over there, but it wasn't. Yeah. And yeah, and then Kane just then got, like, I think, a chokeslam on Landstorm, and then William Regal tried to go for the brass knucks, but Kane took out Regal before he could get to the brass knucks, and then Kane pinned Landstorm, and then yeah, Kane, Booker T, Goldust, and Bubba Ray Dudley won the match. So yeah, I did think that it was overall a good match. I give it probably a 3 and a quarter. And then next up, we had the Intercontinental Championship match between Chris Jericho defending against Ric Flair. This really was just kind of there. I mean, it really wasn't like that good. I mean, yeah, it only lasted about 6 minutes, and really, not nothing really happened in this match, to be honest. I mean, it was basically just kind of a an average match. I don't think it was probably even below average match. I mean, yeah, it just really didn't go that well. I mean, it really was not as good as their match at SummerSlam the month before. But really, I mean, yeah, this was probably just because like Ric Flair really wasn't doing too well during this time. I mean, Ric Flair really wasn't at his greatest during this time. And I guess it is probably a good thing with what happened with him later on in the show, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, this really wasn't very good. I mean, it was just kind of just this standard stuff, really. But I did kind of like the ending where, like, Chris Jericho messed with the lion salt, and Chris Jericho pretended to be hurt, basically just give act doing an old Ric Flair strategy. Yeah, Chris Jericho was just pretending to be hurt, and then the trainer came out, and then as the referee had his back turned talking with the trainer, Ric Flair was kind of letting his guard down. Chris Jericho then just charged at Ric Flair, and then just put Ric Flair immediately in the walls of Jericho, and then Ric Flair just tapped out. So, you know, a nice ending there, but the match overall, it was not very good. I would give it about 2 stars. And then next up, we had Eddie Guerrero versus Edge, and this was a really, really good match right here. Yeah, I'd probably say it was a little bit better than their SummerSlam match the month before. I mean, this was a really enjoyable match. Yeah, Eddie Guerrero had hit Edge in the head with a chair on the SmackDown before this. So yeah, Edge was wrestling this match with a concussion. And so in this match, Eddie Guerrero was targeting Edge's head in this match, and yeah, Eddie Guerrero was in control for a vast majority of the match. And then Edge started to make a comeback. Heck, and then yeah, at one point Edge tried to go for a spear on Eddie Guerrero, but Eddie Guerrero moved out of the way. But then Edge stopped before he actually got to the turnbuckle. And then Edge eventually hit an execution on Eddie Guerrero. Then Eddie Guerrero tried to just throw Edge into an exposed turnbuckle. But yeah, it was reversed, and Eddie Guerrero just went into the exposed steel in the turnbuckle. Then Edge speared Eddie Guerrero, and then Eddie Guerrero hit the exposed steel in the turnbuckle again. Yeah, and it was a really awesome ending where Edge tried to go for a superplex on Eddie Guerrero, but as Edge climbed up onto the turnbuckle, then Eddie Guerrero just slammed Edge's face right back into the exposed steel of the turnbuckle, and then just did a sunset flip and a monstrous power bomb onto Edge. And then for some reason Eddie Guerrero then grabbed Edge's tights and got the pin, where Eddie Guerrero didn't really need to do that. I mean, I really think he would have still won regardless of that. So yeah, this was a pretty good match. And then of course on the next SmackDown they would have an even better match, which was an awesome match. But yeah, this was still a really good match. I would give this 3 3/4. And then next up, we had an interpromotional tag team match. It was Billy and Chuck from SmackDown versus Jamal and Rosey from Raw. Gosh. And yeah, there were stipulations for this match because yeah, this was during the general manager rivalry with Eric Bischoff and Stephanie McMahon. And so the stipulations of this match were that if Billy and Chuck won this match, Eric Bischoff would have to kiss Stephanie's ass. But if Jamal and Rosey won the match, then Stephanie McMahon would have to perform in some hot lesbian action. Oh gosh, I mean, I felt that these stipulations were kind of dumb because how were either one of these things really bad things for the other to do? I mean, I think a lot of you could really agree that neither one of these situations, Eric Bischoff kissing Stephanie's butt or Stephanie and HLA, really would be a bad thing, really. So yeah, it's kind of hard to see how these stipulations were really bad things. But yeah, this was bad. I mean, yeah, this was of course like right when Rico had turned on Billy and Chuck and joined with Jamal and Rosey. So Rico was with Jamal and Rosey in this match, and yeah, this really wasn't good. I mean, this only lasted like 6 minutes. And it really was not anything good at all. Just kind of like back and forth stuff that really wasn't interesting at all. And but one of the things I did like about this match was like when Jamal tried to hit Billy with a Samoan drop, but then Billy Gunn countered it into a famouser. I like that. Yeah. And then Rico tried to get involved, but Billy took out Rico. But then Rosey then just threw Billy right into a Samoan drop by Jamal, and then Jamal pinned Billy, and then Jamal and Rosey won the match. And then, yeah, that would make Stephanie have to perform HLA later in the show, and yeah, I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Yeah. Alright. And then next up, we had the World Heavyweight Championship match with Triple H defending against Rob Van Dam. Yeah, this was just right when. Yeah, this was the first pay per view when Eric Bischoff had introduced the World Heavyweight Championship to Raw, and yeah, this was just like when Triple H's reign of terror was beginning. And yeah, I think I like this match a little bit more than a lot of other people do. I mean, yeah, this was like still, this was a decent match right here. This was like almost pretty good. I don't really wouldn't like quite say it was like really like great or anything, but it was like a decent match. I mean, I understand people's frustrations with this match because like there were some people that say this match did kind of like ruin RVD's momentum that he was gaining, and yeah, it's true. I mean, RVD was really like being built up as like a star basically since WrestleMania that year. I mean, during the spring and summer of 2002, RVD was really being built up really well. He like won the Intercontinental title 3 times. He had that awesome ladder match with Eddie Guerrero. And RVD like was having just a bunch of really great matches. RVD made it to the finals of the King of the Ring that year. So yeah, RVD was really being built up as a huge star real well. And then with this match, this just really kind of did ruin his momentum. And yeah, Lundrick said like RVD really didn't recover from that ever. And yeah, it kind of is a shame because yeah, RVD really was like just one of the hottest faces in the company during this time. And then this just kind of like ruined his momentum. But I mean, this was still like a decent match, as I said. Not really anything too memorable about it, but I thought it was a decent match. I think the best thing about this match to me was like when RVD was trying to do a sunset flip to the outside on Triple H, and then Triple H moved out of the way, and then RVD just hit it like back first onto the floor. Gosh. And yeah, it was just kind of like a back and forth match. Nothing too memorable, really. Yeah, and then like RVD accidentally, RVD accidentally hit the referee and knocked him out. And then Triple H tried to go for the sledgehammer, but then RVD got the Van Daminator on Triple H and took him out. And then Ric Flair ran out because, yeah, a little bit earlier on in the show, in a backstage segment, Triple H kind of insulted Ric Flair. Then Ric Flair grabbed the sledgehammer, and it looked like he was going to nail Triple H with it, but then Ric Flair turned around and hit RVD right in the stomach with the sledgehammer, and then Triple H hit the pedigree on RVD, and then Triple H got the pin, and Triple H retained, and then, yeah, this was when and Ric Flair joined up with Triple H. So, yeah. Yeah, there are people, of course, that say that RVD should have went over here. I do like kind of. I was kind of like okay with Triple H winning here because I mean this was just like when his title was just beginning, so I see why they didn't really have him lose the title here. And yeah, this was just like when it was beginning with his reign of terror. Like this was just when it was getting started. It wasn't quite like as tedious as it would get later on. So I mean I was okay with Triple H going over here, but I do understand people's frustrations with it. So yeah, it was, but yeah, this was still a decent match. I give it about 2 3/4. And then next up, there was the women's championship match with Trish Stratus, with Molly Holly defending against Trish Stratus. This was just kind of there. I mean, it's really nothing too memorable about this. I don't really say this is really that memorable at all. I mean, this was still like an alright match. I'd probably say this was probably just as good as the match that they had at King of the Ring. I mean, yeah, it was just kind of like a back and forth match. I mean, once again, it really was not that long. It was only about like 5 minutes, but I mean, for those 5 minutes, it was okay. Yeah. You know, one of the things I really did like about this was some of Molly Holly's offense. Like, she had like Trish's arms like wrapped around her neck like that, and she like pulled Trish back and had her knees like right in Trish's back. So that was kind of a nice move from Molly. And I also liked how Trish tried to do what she usually does when she like flips her legs up on to her opponent sitting on the turnbuckle and then flips them back into the ring. Yeah, Molly Holly countered that and just caught one of Trish's legs and then just hooked it under the turnbuckle and stuff. Yeah, yeah, it was kind of like a good, you know, an all an all right match, but it ended kind of abruptly, just like out of nowhere. Trish just hit like some type of bulldog on Molly, and then Trish got the pin and won the title. So yeah, kind of an abrupt ending there. So yeah, but still the match was all right. I give it like 2.5 stars. Then next up we had the match of the night with Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. So yeah, this was like a really, really good to great match right here. I don't think it is as good as like their WrestleMania 17 or their Royal Rumble 2003 matches, but I mean this was still a really, really good to great match right here. I mean yeah, just yeah, these guys of course like they're like really great together. I mean you can make a strong case that these guys were like the two best wrestlers in the company at this time. I mean yeah, these guys just great technical wrestlers, and yeah, they always just worked well together and have great matches. You know, a lot of like near falls here. There was a lot of like countering where one guy would get a fall and then attempt a fall, and then they would reverse and get the other guy in a pin attempt. So yeah, I really like that. And yeah, just a really, really good, enjoyable back and forth match. And yeah, I really did like how they were kind of like fighting each other at one point where like Kurt Angle had the ankle lock on Chris Benoit, and then Chris Benoit would counter it and get Kurt Angle into a crossface, and then Kurt Angle would counter that again and get Benoit an ankle lock, and then Benoit would reverse that and get Kurt Angle into a crossface. I like that. And then at one point, Kurt Angle then just turned his ankle lock into a crossface on Chris Benoit. And then, as Chris Benoit was trying to reach the ropes, Kurt Angle tried to push the ropes back with his foot. But then, like, as the referee was trying to get Kurt Angle to stop doing that, Benoit then rolled through and then pinned Kurt Angle with his feet on the ropes, and Chris Benoit got the pin, and Chris Benoit won. So, yeah, not as good as their WrestleMania 17 and Royal Rumble 2003 matches, but still a really, really good to great match. I give this 3 3/4. Yeah, and then after that, then we had the HLA segment where Eric Bischoff brought out a couple of young lesbians, and one of them was actually one of the Miller Lite Catfight girls that appeared at WrestleMania 19, so that was interesting to see. Yeah, and yeah, at first, like Chris Benoit, yeah, Eric Bischoff was just kind of like toying around with the fans, having like the lesbians kind of just toying with each other and then toying with Stephanie. And then, as like they were about to engage in some HLA, Eric Bischoff stopped it and then just dismissed the two younger lesbians. And then he just like brought out a fat, ugly lesbian to perform HLA with Stephanie. And then it showed Stephanie then like making out with the lesbian, but then it was revealed that it was Rikishi as the lesbian, and then Rikishi then just kicked Eric Bischoff down, and then gave Eric Bischoff the stink face, so, yeah. And then we got the main event for the WWE Championship, Brock Lesnar defending against The Undertaker. So, I really didn't like this match as much as a lot of other people really did, but I mean, I still did think that this was a pretty good match here. Yeah, this was during the time where Brock Lesnar really was just the beast that he was. And just, yeah, this was like during the time where he took out Hulk Hogan and then won the title from The Rock. So, yeah, Brock Lesnar was really just like the unstoppable force in the company at the time. And this was shortly right when after Undertaker did sign with SmackDown, and then, yeah, there was this match for the WWE title. And yeah, this was just like a really brutal match, really. I mean, yeah, this was really, WWE really made this like a real personal rivalry with like Brock Lesnar, like just with like actually putting his hands on Undertaker's pregnant wife. Just yeah, and yeah, this was just like a really good match. I mean, just a lot of it was really like personal stuff. I mean, Undertaker was just like going beating the crap out of Brock Lesnar, and then yeah, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman were just trying to do whatever they could to try to beat Undertaker here. Yeah. And yeah, it was just kind of yeah, it just kept going like back and forth. This was like seeming like maybe Undertaker was Brock Lesnar's biggest challenge. Yeah. Yeah, the referee was taking like a bunch of bumps in this match, really. I mean, the referee just kept getting knocked out in this match. Yeah. At one point after the referee got knocked out, Undertaker like gave Brock Lesnar a chokeslam, and then Matt Hardy then just randomly ran in, and then Undertaker just like immediately took him out, gave him a last ride, and then Brock Lesnar then just hit Undertaker with a huge spine buster, but Undertaker survived it. And then the referee got knocked out again, and then Brock Lesnar tried to hit Undertaker with a chair, but Undertaker stopped Brock Lesnar from hitting him. And then Undertaker grabbed the chair, and he hit Brock Lesnar in the head so hard with it that the seat for the chair was bent. Yeah. Yeah. And then they were just brawling, and then it just got into just utter chaos, and the referee just couldn't stop Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. He just couldn't get control of the match, and then eventually the referee just ended up calling for the bell, and yeah, the crowd was not pleased with that. And yeah, at first I actually thought that it may have been like Brock Lesnar who was disqualified, because yeah, Brock Lesnar, like, he actually did kind of shove the referee first. So originally I thought it was like Brock Lesnar got disqualified, but then like it turned out this was ended in a double disqualification, and then Brock Lesnar and Undertaker just continued to brawl with each other, and the referees tried to break it up, but they couldn't. And then it just ended with Undertaker just throwing Brock Lesnar through the Unforgiven sign in the staging area. So yeah, and then the pay-per-view just like went off after that. So yeah, kind of an abrupt ending for that too. But yeah, there were some people that were complaining about this finish when it first happened, because I mean, yeah, people were like pissed off about how there was really no decisive winner here, and there were people like trying to say that the Undertaker was being selfish here, but it made sense why they had the match end this way, because of course like this would just take it to be even more brutal, and then this of course would lead to the Hell in a Cell the next month at No Mercy, and then yeah, and then it would just make like Lesnar actually defeating the Undertaker just an even bigger deal than it was. But yeah, the match here was still like a pretty good match. I give it 3.5 stars. Overall, the show, I give it about a 7.75 out of 10. Yeah, like I've said before, yeah, it's really due to the SmackDown matches that the show really ends up as good. I mean, yeah, the Raw stuff, like I said, I mean, yeah, overall, it really was not like that great, but I just did still think that the Raw portion of the show was still, like, decent at least. So, yeah, and like I said, like, this pay-per-view, people really don't talk about it a lot, but it is worth checking out. So if you haven't seen it yet, you should check it out. I mean, you'll enjoy it thoroughly. Alright, so that does it for my review of Unforgiven 2002. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, so yeah, alright, and stay tuned as I've got, like, some other ideas for videos coming up also, so yeah, so that does it for this review, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.